Hello everyone. In last video we have discussed and learned how to apply stepping stone method to test the optimality of an initial feasible solution of a transportation problem. But there is a drawback or limitation of using stepping stone method. You might have noticed while applying this method that this method is very time consuming, or it takes a lot of time to calculate the opportunity cost of every empty cell while by formulating or tracing a closed loop. Suppose in a situation where we have large number of sources and large number of destinations, then it is going to be very difficult and very lengthy process to calculate the opportunity cost by tracing a closed loop in stepping stone method. So this is the major drawback of stepping stone method, that it is very time consuming and a lengthy process to calculate the optimality of the initial feasible solution. So to avoid this this drawback of stepping stone method, we apply modified distribution method, as this method eliminates most of the steps while testing the opportunity cost of the empty cells, and that's why we call it the efficient method. It is more efficient than the stepping stone method. So let's start the modified distribution method. In this particular video we are going to learn how to apply modified distribution method to test the optimality of an initial feasible solution. So what is the step number 1? In step 1, what we have to do, simply add a column to this table to the right hand side, headed by or titled as UI. So we added an extra column to the right hand side of this table that is titled as UI. Similarly, we need to add in the bottom an extra row which is titled as VJ. So what we have to do, simply add a column to the right hand side of this table and add a row to the bottom side of this table. The column is titled as UI and the row is titled as VJ. So it is the step 1, simply add a row and column. What is step 2? In step 1, what is the meaning of UI? For first row it is U1, for second row U2, and for third row it is U3. Similarly, for first column it is V1, for second column V2, for third column V3, and for fourth column it is V4. In step 2, we need to calculate the values of U1, U2, U3, V1, V2, V3 and V4. So how we are going to calculate these values? Simply, as we know that the costs are represented by Cij. In a particular typical type of transportation problem, we represent per unit cost as Cij. So what is the relationship between Cij, Ui and Vj? So we must be clear about the relationship between Vj, Ui and Cij. So what is the relationship? Ui plus Vj is equal to Cij. So it is the basic formula that we are going to use to calculate the values of U1, U2, U3 and V1, V2, V3 and V4. Collectively we can call them as index values. Index values. So collectively Ui and Vj values are known as index values. So to calculate these index values we are going to use this formula, and specifically this formula would be applied on only occupied cells or the basic variables. It means on this cell, this cell, this cell, which are given some quantity or assigned some quantity in cell, we are going to apply this formula only on occupied cells. So in step 2, we need to calculate the values of V1, V2, V3, V4, U1, U2 and U3. So to initiate step 2, or to calculate the values of these values, variables, simply initiate this process by assigning any arbitrary value to any of these variables. You can assign to a variable any value. Suppose you can assign u1 some value like 1. But what is the condition? You can assign this value only to one variable, either u1, u2, u3 or v1, v2, v3, v4. You can assign only one value to a variable. That value you are going to assign can be positive, negative, or can be 0. Okay. So for simplicity, what we are going to do, we are going to assign 0. So to initiate the step 2, what we need to do, assign an arbitrary value to any of these variables. So I am going to give or assign 0 to u1. It means ui in first row, that is known as u1. Now by using this value, now we have to calculate the values of remaining variables, the values of v1, v2, v3, v4, u2 and u3. And what would be the procedure? We have to apply the same formula, that is ui plus vj is equal to cij. It means for a particular cell we need to identify ui, vj and cij. Then the values we will put in this equation and can calculate the values of these variables. So suppose, and remember that this formula would be applied only to the occupied cells, only occupied cells. So though the row or column to which we have assigned a value, select that row. So we have assigned value in this row, so consider this row and identify in this row the occupied cells. Okay, so in this row there are 3 occupied cells, so we are going to consider them one by one. So for first cell, that is S1 D1, S1 D1, S1 D1 is the occupied cell. Apply this formula for this particular cell. For this particular cell, what is the value of ui? Simply put the values in this equation. What is the value of ui or u1? That is equal to 0 plus what is the value of vj or v1? V1 because this cell lies in first row and first column, that's why we are taking u1 and v1. So what is the value of v1? We don't know. And for this particular cell, what's the value of Cij? Cij is per unit cost of transportation. For this particular cell, it is equal to 12. So what would be the value of V1? It's a simple adjustment. V1 would be equal to 12. V1 would be equal to 12. So we are going to put this value here. So V1 is 12. 0 plus V1 is equal to 12. That means V1 is equal to 12. Now come on the second occupied cell of this row, that is S1 D2. So this particular cell, what is the value of ui? That is u1. It is 0 again. What is the value of v2? Still we don't know the value of v2. So put it like as it is, v2. And for this particular cell, what is the value of Cij? It is 10 per unit cost of transportation. So according to this equation, what would be the value of v2? It is 10. So v2 would be equal to 10. Again, let's come on the third occupied cell of this row. It is S1 D3. So for this particular cell, what is the value of ui? It is 0. For V3, we don't know the value of V3. So what is Cij for this particular cell? It is 12. Per unit cost of transportation is 12. So what would be the value of V3? It is equal to 12. So V3 is equal to 12. Okay. Now come on the fourth cell. As this cell is not occupied, or we have not assigned any value into this cell, so we are not going to consider this cell particularly for calculating the values of index values. Now look at the values. Suppose come to the second row in this row. Do you have any occupied cell? Yes, we have 2 occupied cells in this row. Now consider this cell. It is S2D3. S2D3. For this particular cell, what is the value of U2? We don't know. So write it like U2. What is the value of V3 for this particular row? V is equal to 12. And what is the value of Cij? It is 8. So what would be the value of U? U2, it is equal to 8 minus 12. It means minus 4. So value of U2 would be equal to minus 4. So it's a very simple method. Simply by using this combination, we need to calculate the values of V1, V2, V3, V4, U1, U2 and U3. So how you can calculate the value of U3? Simply come to the occupied cell of this row, that is this one, and the name of this row is 2, 3, 4 S3D4. S3D4. So for this particular, look at this cell. Now we don't have V4 as well as we don't know the value of U3. So we cannot apply this cell to calculate the values of V4 or U3. So let's hear it. So come to this cell S2D4. S2D4. For this particular cell, what is the value of U2? Minus 4. What is the value of V4? We don't know. So V4 is equal to, what is the cost per unit? It is 14. So what would be the value of V4? It would be equal to 14 plus 4, that is equal to 18. So the value of V4 is equal to 18. Now come to this cell. In this situation, now we have two values of V and Cij. Cij and Vj we have, so we can calculate the value of U3. So for S3 and D4, what would be the formula? U3 we don't know, plus what is the value of V4? 18 is equal to Cij is 7. So what would be the value of U3? It is equal to 80 minus 7 minus 18, that is minus 11. So minus 11. So now we have the values of all the index variables of U1, U2, U3, V1, V2, V3, V4. So in second step, we have to calculate the index values for these variables. Like for this column titled UI, we need to calculate the value of U1, U2, U3. For the row titled as VJ, we have to calculate the values of V1, V2, V3 and V4. It depends on the number of columns. If we have 6 columns, then we have to calculate the values of V1, V2, V3, V4, V5 and V6, and same rule apply on the number of rows. So after calculating or obtaining the values of these variables, now we come on the third step of the process. Now I'm going to clear it. So what is step 3? What is step 3? In step 3, we need to calculate the opportunity cost of the empty cells. Always remember that opportunity cost is calculated only for the empty cells or unoccupied cells. Okay. So in this case, we need to calculate the opportunity cost of empty cells. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 empty cells are there. So we need to calculate their opportunity cost. So what would be the formula of calculating the opportunity cost of these variables? If you remember, in stepping stone method, we calculated opportunity cost by tracing a loop, or by formulating a closed loop. We calculated the opportunity cost of the empty cells. But in this particular method, the formula would be Ui plus Vj minus Cij. it would be the formula of calculating opportunity cost of a particular empty cell. So it is just some adjustments in the formula of the same formula. We have made some adjustments. So by taking this value to the left hand side and putting this side equal to 0, okay, or actually not 0. So we need to apply this formula on every empty cell, okay. So remember this one. So start with any empty cell of your choice, like we are starting from S1D4. So first empty cell is S1D4. So simply apply this formula. For this cell, what is the value of U? It is 0, plus what is the value of V for this particular cell? It is 18. And what is the value of Cij or cost per unit? It is 13. So what would be the opportunity cost? It is going to be equal to, opportunity cost is 18 minus 3, that is 5. Okay. So what is it? If you look at the comparison of two methods, stepping stone method and modified distribution method. In stepping stone method, first we calculated the net effect on the total cost, and then we calculated the opportunity cost by just changing the sign of the value. But in this case, we are going to obtain the opportunity cost directly. Okay, by applying this formula, we are directly coming on opportunity cost. So there is no need to change the sign of the value. Now consider the next empty cell, that is S2D1. 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 This is the empty cell. For this particular cell, what is the value of U? It is minus 4. What is the value of V? It is 12. And what is the value of Cij? It is 7. So simply put these values in the formula. And what would be the value of S2D1? Opportunity cost is 1 plus 1. Okay. For next unoccupied cell, that is S2D2. S2D2. What is the value of U? It is again minus 4 plus what is the value of V2? 10. And what is the value of Cij or cost per unit? It is 11. So what is the opportunity cost? Minus 15 and 10. It means minus 5. For the next unoccupied cell, it is S3D1. By using same formula, S3D1, value of U is minus 11, of V1 plus 12. What is the value of Cij? It is minus 6. So what is the value? Minus 17 plus 12 means minus 5. For next empty cell, S3D2. S3D2. S3D2, value of U is minus 11, value of V2 plus 10, minus 16. So value is minus 27 plus 10 minus 17. And for last empty cell, that is S3D3. S3D3, value of U3 minus 11. For this cell, V3 is plus 12 and minus per unit cost is 11. So value is minus 11 minus 11. It is going to be minus 10. Okay, minus 10. So in this way, we calculated the values of, or we calculated the opportunity costs of all empty cells given in this table. Now, what is the basis to identify, to check if the solution is optimal or not? The same way that we used in stepping stone method, we look at the sign of the opportunity cost. If all the opportunity costs are negative, it means the solution is optimal one. And if it is not the case, then the solution is not optimal. Then we have to improve it. So in this case, we got in S1D4 the opportunity cost is 5, and it is plus 5. It means if we opt this route, then our total cost is going to be reduced by 5 rupees per unit. Okay. Similarly, in S to D1, the opportunity cost is 1. So we can reduce our total cost by opting this route by how much amount? By 1 rupees if we transfer 1 unit. Okay, so the solution is not optimal, so we need to improve it. And how we are going to improve it? In the same manner like we did it in stepping stone method. Select the cell with highest opportunity cost, with highest positive opportunity cost, in fact it is 5, and then trace a closed loop that we have done in stepping stone method. So select S1D4. S1D4, it is the cell which are going to minimize our total cost. Okay, so in this cell trace a closed loop. So you know very well what are the rules of tracing a closed loop or formulating it. Start with an empty cell. So we have started from here. End up at an occupied cell. Then take a horizontal move at 90 degree. Again we entered in an occupied cell. After that again go to move vertically and come back to the occupied cell. So in this way, the cell from where we have started, we put positive sign. It means we are assigning one value, and to the next cell -1, to the next +1 and -1. So if you remember the rules of the tracing a closed loop, then you can understand very easily why I have written here +1, -1, +1 and -1. So this is the most efficient route, or it is going to bring us the best results if we are going to adopt this route. So what we need to do, we would try to utilize the maximum potential of this route. Okay, we are going to utilize the maximum potential of this route. And what is the maximum potential of this route? That we can supply 120 units to D4 from S1. And why it is so? Why only 120 units? Because to balance it out, we can transfer or we can take away 120 units from this cell. Okay, so if we are transferring 120 units from this cell to this cell, then what would be the remaining amount here? 50 units. And to balance it out, to satisfy the rim requirements, what we are going to do? We are taking away 120 units from this cell. It means remaining cells will be 0 here. 0. And we are going to transfer these units to this cell. So how many units would be there? 180 plus 120, 300. So it is our improved solution. So I am going to put these values clearly in next table. So for this cell, the values are unchanged, 180. For this cell as well, it is 150. Now after doing this allocation or making the adjustments, the remaining amount in this cell are 50 units. 50 units. And in this cell, it is going to be 120 units. 120 units. Similarly, in this cell, there would be no units, and in this cell, there would be 300 units. This cell is unaffected, so put 200 units in this cell. So now we have an improved solution with the help of modified distribution approach or modified distribution methods. So again, there are 6 occupied cells and 6 unoccupied cells. So what we have to do? Again, we have to repeat this exercise for this solution. That is, we need to calculate or we need to test if this solution is optimal or not. So for this table as well, we again need to calculate the UI values and Vj values. Then we need to calculate the opportunity cost for each empty cell. So let's do it very quickly. First, calculate the values of U1, U1, U2, U3, and then this side Vj, V1, V2, V3 and V4. So what is the formula of calculating? So first, what in step 1 we need to do to calculate the values of these variables u1, u2, u3, v1, v2, v3, v4 in a similar manner we did it in this table. So apply the simple formula, that is ui plus vj is equal to cij, and it is for only occupied cells only. So it is the first unoccupied cell. So to initiate this step, what we need to do, simply assign any value to any variable. Okay, you can assign u1, u2, u3 or v1, v2, v3, v4, any value of your choice. It can be positive, negative or 0. So in this case particularly, I am going to assign 0 to v1. v1 is 0. So consider the column or row in which we have assigned any value. So in this table I have assigned the value in first column, that is v1 is equal to 0. So now consider this column. In this column, take the occupied cell or select the occupied cell. So occupied cell is here. It is S1 D1. S1 D1. Apply this formula for this occupied cell. For this particular cell, what is the value of ui? We don't know. So u1 we don't know. What is the value of v1? Because it is first column, so I am taking it v1. It is v1 is 0, that I have assigned it. And what is the value of cij? It is equal to 12 cost per unit. So u1 would be equal to 12. Okay, u1 would be equal to 12. So I am writing it here. Okay. Now check if by using this column can we calculate the u2 or u3 any index values, and for that we need occupied cell. So in this particular column there was only a single occupied cell, so we cannot use this column for further calculation of these values. So what we have to do now, we should shift to the first row. In first row, look at the occupied cells. Where are the occupied cells? It is here. The name of occupied cell is S1D4. For this particular row or for this particular column, what is the value of u? It is 12. What is the value of v? We don't know. v4. And what is the value of cij? It is 13. So what would be the value of v4? 13 minus 12, that is equal to 1. So v4 is equal to 1. Now again, the next occupied cell in this row is S1D3. For S1D3, what is the value of u1? It is 12 again, plus what is the value of v? It is, we don't know, is equal to the cost cij, cost per, always remember this formula by calculating the index values. 12 plus v3, and what is the value of cij? It is 12. S1T3. So v3 would be equal to 12 minus 12, that is 0. So v3 would be equal to 0. So next occupied cell in this particular row is S1D2. 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 So in this, for this particular row, what is the value of u? It is 12. What is the value of v? We don't know. So write it as it is, v2. And the cost per unit or cij is 10. That is equal to 10. So what would be the value of v2? It is 10 minus 12. It means minus 2. So v2 is equal to minus 2. Okay. Now we need to calculate the values of u2 and u3. So consider any occupied cell in this row. It is this one. S2 D3. So for S2 D3, what is the value of U2? We have to calculate it. What is the value of V3? It is 0. And what is the value of Cij? It is 8. So U2 would be equal to 8 minus 0 means 8. In a similar manner, now we can calculate the value of UI3 by opting or selecting, considering this cell S3D4. S3D4. For S3D4, what is the value of U3? We don't know. Plus, what is the value of V? It is 1. And what is Cij? 7. So U3 is equal to 7 minus 1, that is 6. So in this way we obtained all index values. So step 1 is complete for the improved feasible solution. Now come to the second step, that is calculate the opportunity cost for all of the unoccupied cells. So what would be the formula that we need to apply while calculating the opportunity cost of unoccupied or empty cells? So formula would be Ui minus Vj, Vy plus Vj minus Cij. It is going to be delta Ij. So delta Ij denotes the opportunity cost. Okay, delta Ij denotes opportunity cost. So for first empty cell, that is this one, S2D1. S2D1. What's the value of Ui? 8. For Vj, 0. 8 plus 0 and 4 and Cij is 7 minus 7. So opportunity cost or delta Ij is going to be 8 minus 7, 1. Okay. For next unoccupied cell S2D2. S2D2. What is the value of U? 8. Value of V? 2 minus 2. 8 minus 2 and Cij is 11 minus 11. So answer would be 11 minus 2 minus 13 plus 8 minus 5. For next unoccupied cell, that is this one, S2D4. Put the values in this formula. S2D4, U is 8 and V is 1. 8 plus 1 and minus 14, that is Cij. So minus 5. For next unoccupied cell, that is S3D1. S3D1, formula is 6 and V is 0. 6 plus 0 minus opportunity cost per unit is 6. So 6 minus 6, that is equal to 0. For next cell S3D2, it is U is 6 and V is minus 2. 6 minus 2 and cost per unit is 16 minus 16, so value would be minus 12. And for last unoccupied cell, that is S3D3. S3D3, value for U3, U is 6 and V is 0. 6 plus 0 minus cost per unit 11. So value would be minus 5. So look at the opportunity costs of the unoccupied cells. Remember the condition of optimality, that is all the opportunity cost should be negative. Only in that, or 0, only in that case the solution is optimal. But in this case we have one positive value, so it means again we have to do this exercise once again to reach the optimal solution. So for this, what we have to do? First we need to improve the solution. So what is the procedure of improving the solution? Select the empty cell with highest opportunity cost, that is S2D1. S2D1. Okay, and allocate units into this cell. So for this, what we need to do? First calculate the trace a closed loop or formulate a closed loop. Start from here, go here, come back here, and this is the closed loop. So just go and revise the rules of tracing a closed loop, and you will be able to trace this loop or formulate this one. So what we have to do, the starting point is this one, so put +1, -1 here, +1 here, and -1 here. So we are going to utilize the maximum potential possible from this route. So what is the maximum potential? Look at the demand of D1. Demand is 180 units. So from any source we can transfer at max 180 units. So what we are doing now, we are transferring 180 units from this cell to this one. 180 units here. So remaining units would be here 120. Okay. Now to balance the rim requirement or the requirement of this column, what we need to do, we need to take away these 180 units from here and add these units to which cell? To this one. Not this one, because we have skipped this cell while formulating this closed loop. So we are adding 180 units to this cell. So total units here would be 330. So it is the improved solution. So let's put these values into this table. In this table, there is no more allocation of units, so allocation would be 0. In this cell, it is unaffected, so 150 units would be there. In this cell, 330 units, and the next cell, it is 120 unaffected. For this one, it is 120, 200, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So we have improved our solution. So what we have to do now? Again, test the optimality of this feasible solution. And to test the optimality, repeat step 1 and step 2. So again, this method is also very time consuming. Let's increase our speed. For this table also, calculate the values of U, I and Vj's, V1, V2, V3 and V4. So the same process, select or allocate any arbitrary value to any of these variables, V1, V2, V3, V4 or U1, U2, U3. So let's suppose that I'm assigning V2 is equal to 0. So V2 is equal to 0. Consider the column in which you have assigned the value. So the second column, and identify the occupied cell. So this one is the occupied cell. So consider this cell. For this particular cell, to calculate these values, what formula we should follow? Ui plus Vj is equal to Cij. So for this cell, S1 or D2, what is the value of Ui? We don't know. What is the value of V? We have supposed that V2 is equal to 0. Put it 0 here. And Cij for this cell is 10. So what would be the value of U? It is going to be 10. 10 minus 0, 10. So put 10 here. Now there are no more occupied cells in this column. Now go to this row. We have 3 occupied cells in this particular row. So for S1D4, apply this formula. S1D4, what's the value of U? It is 10. What's the value of V4? We don't know. Is equal to Cij, that is 13. So V4 is equal to 13 minus 10, 3. Again, in this row, the second occupied cell is S1D3. S1D3. For this particular cell, U is equal to 10. V3 we don't know the value of V3, and Cij is 12. So V3 would be equal to 2. 12 minus 10, it is equal to 2. Now come to this row. For this particular row, the occupied cell is this one, S2D3. S2D3. So what is the value of U2? Need to calculate the value of U2. V3 is equal to 2, and what is the Cij? It is 8. So what would be the value of U2? It is 8 minus 2, 6. Now consider this occupied cell, that is S3D4. S3D4. The value of U3 we don't know, plus V is equal to 3, and what is the cost per unit? 7. So U3 would be equal to 7 minus 3, that is equal to 4. So now we left with V1 only. We need to calculate the value of V1. 180. Okay, we missed this value as we have allocated 180 units to this cell. So there are 180 units. So in this column, consider this cell S2D1. What is the value of U for this particular cell? 6, plus V1 is equal to cost per unit 7. So V1 is equal to 7 minus 6, that is equal to 1. So in this way we obtained the values for all the index variables. Now come to the step 2. Calculate the opportunity cost for the unoccupied cells in this table. So what would be the formula for calculating opportunity cost? It is Ui plus Vj minus Cij, that is equal to delta Ij. Delta Ij denotes the opportunity cost. Okay. So consider the first unoccupied cell, that is S1D1. For S1D1, calculate opportunity cost. For this particular cell, what is the value of U? 10. Value of V1 minus value of 12. That is, so delta Ij would be minus 1. For next unallocated cell, S2D2. The value of U2 is 6. For V, it is 0 minus opportunity cost per unit is 11. That is 11 minus 6 minus 5. For next unoccupied cell, that is S2D4. 6 plus 3 minus 14, that is equal to minus 5. Next unoccupied cell is S3D1. Value of U is 4, for V is 1. 4 plus 1 minus 6, that is equal to minus 1. For S3D2 is, it is 4 plus 0 minus 16, that is equal to minus 10. And for the last unoccupied cell, that is S3D3. The value of U3 is 4. For V, it is 2, and opportunity cost is 11. So minus 5. So all the opportunity costs are negative. So we can say that finally we got the optimal solution of this transportation problem. So it is the optimal solution that provides the minimum total cost of this problem. The total cost would be minimum if we allocate these cells in this manner. You can calculate the total cost by applying simple formula, that is summation of Cij into Xi J. And what would be the answer in this case? $9,440. And in this case it was 10,220. So you can check, we improved our solution from 10,220 to 9,440. So with this method we have completed all the methods of transportation problem, starting from the methods to calculate initial feasible solutions. We covered Vogel's approximation method, least cost method, northwest corner rule method. Then we studied the methods to calculate feasible optimal solutions, stepping stone method, and modified distribution methods. So among these methods to calculate initial feasible solutions, Vogel's approximation method is considered the most efficient one, and among these two methods the modified distribution method is considered the most efficient one. So in next video we would discuss some special cases of the transportation problems, like unbalanced transportation problem, how to deal with the prohibited routes in particular or restrictive routes in a particular transportation problem, the condition of degeneracy, and the multiple optimal solutions. Thank you.